So today in geometry, we're going to start chapter 5. We're going to look at section 5.1, the midsegment theorem. So we're going to start out with some vocabulary. It tells us that a midsegment of a triangle is a segment that joins the midpoints. So the midpoints of two sides of the triangle. Every triangle will have 3 midsegments. So in this picture, R is the midpoint of segment CD. S is the midpoint of segment CE. Therefore, segment RS is a midsegment of triangle CDE. So we'll look at this picture. We have the great big triangle, XYZ. It says find the midsegments. We see that A is the midpoint of XY. B is the midpoint of XZ, and C is the midpoint of YZ. Therefore, the midsegments, we have segment AB is a midsegment. We have segment BC is a midsegment, and segment AC is also a midsegment. So then it says, if AB is a midsegment of triangle RST, so in this picture over here, what is the slope of line segment AB? So AB, right here, the slope, we can either count points or we can do the slope formula. If we count points, how far is it from A to B? We see we have to go down 2 and over 2. So since we go down, it's -2 over 2. That reduces to -1. So the slope of line segment AB is -1. So now I ask, what is the slope of segment ST? So again, here's S up here, T down here. We can count points. So again, I have to go down. So I go down 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, 2, 3, 4. So -4 over 4, which also reduces to -1. So then it says, what can you conclude about segment AB and segment ST? We can conclude that they are parallel. Why? Because they have the same slope. So then it says find the length of segment AB. Okay, so the length of segment AB, we're going to have to do our distance formula, or since we already have it graphed over here, we can do Pythagorean theorem, right? So if I make my right triangle, this is 2, this is 2, this is what I'm looking for. So the Pythagorean theorem tells me x squared equals 2 squared plus 2 squared. So x squared is equal to 4 plus 4. X squared is equal to 8, but I don't want x squared, so I'm going to take the square root of both sides. I need to do factor tree, so 8 came from 4 and 2. 4 breaks down to 2 and 2. I have a pair of 2's and a 2 left behind. So AB is equal to 2 square roots of 2. So no decimals allowed. So this is why we did all of that review of radicals. So now we want to find the length of ST. So ST, again, I can make my triangle. This is 4 and 4. So again, the Pythagorean theorem, we would have x squared equals 4 squared plus 4 squared. So x squared equals 16 plus 16. So x squared is equal to 32. The square root of both sides. Again, factor tree. So I know that 32 breaks down to 8 and 4. 8 breaks down to 4 and 2. I have a pair of 4's right there, 2 left behind. So the length of ST is 4 square roots of 2. So then it says compare the lengths of segment AB and ST. So AB compared to ST. So AB was 2 square roots of 2. ST is 4 square roots of 2. So we want to know, how do they compare? So what would I have to do to ST to get AB? I would have to cut it in half. So I could say that AB is equal to half of ST. Or if we didn't want a fraction, we could say that ST is equal to 2 times AB. So next we have what's called the midsegment theorem. So this is going to tell everything that we just discovered. So it says the midsegment, or a segment joining the midpoints of two sides of a triangle, is parallel to the third side. We just saw that. And its length is equal to half the length of the third side. So in this picture, we can say given midsegment, so in this picture, midsegment is BC. We could say that B is the midpoint of segment AD. C is the midpoint of segment AE. Therefore, we could say that segment BC would be parallel to the third side, this side down here, DE. And then we could say that BC is equal to half of DE, or BE is equal to 2 times BC. We need to memorize those. Okay? Those are the formulas that we need to memorize because that's what we're going to be using. So now it just says find each measure. Okay? So over here, okay, they tell me that all the way across G to H is 46, but W is the midpoint. So if I cut 46 in half, I see that this is going to be 23 and this is going to be 23. We see that V is the midpoint of GJ and X is the midpoint of HJ. So it asks me, what is the measure of V to X? So Vx right here. We can use our formulas that we had up here. Okay? So this segment is going to be equal to half of this segment. So it's going to be 46 cut in half, which we just said was 23. So now we know that this is 23. Now they want HJ, okay, so this entire segment. They give me this segment over here, so we know that HJ is going to be 2 times WV, so 2 times 27, which is 54. So we know this whole length now is 54. So each of these little parts is 27 as well. They have asked for the measure of angle VXJ. So VXJ right here. So this is the angle that they're looking for. If these lines are parallel, then we have corresponding angles that come into play. This angle and this angle are corresponding. We know that corresponding angles are congruent, so this is 92 degrees, again, by corresponding angles. And finally, it's asking what is the length of XJ. So this little part right here, we've already marked that as 27. Okay, so let's try that again. We have another picture here. They want to know what is the length of ST. Okay. So ST, okay, that line is going to be parallel to this line. We could see that ST is bigger, so we know that it's going to be twice this one. So it's going to be 2 times 36. 2 times 36 is 72. So we know that this whole thing is 72. So this is 36 and this is 36. Now the next one they've asked for DE. They want this one here. That and this one are parallel. Again, we can see DE, the one that we're looking for, is smaller, so it's going to be half of the other one. So it's half of 44, which is 22. So now we know this is 22. Now we want the measure of angle DES. So the measure of angle DES, that's this angle right here. So let's look at what do we have. We have parallel lines, right, this way, and we have parallel lines this way. If I look at these two parallel lines, then I see this angle and this angle are alternate interior angles. We know alternate interior are congruent, so 48 degrees by alternate interior angles. And now they want the measure of angle RCD. So RCD, that's this angle in here. Again, I can look at alternate interior angles. This angle and this angle are alternate interior, so that one is also 48 degrees. Last example on this page, they give us this big picture down here. It tells me in that diagram, ST, TU, and SU are midsegments of triangle PQR. So it says answer the following. So ST would be parallel to which side? So ST is going to be parallel, we see down here, QR, so segment QR. So then it tells me ST is going to equal what? Well, we see that ST is the smaller one, so that's going to equal 1/2 of QR. So then it says UT, so this line is parallel to which one? That's going to be this one over here, so segment QP. UT is equal to, again, we see that UT is smaller, so that's going to be 1/2 of QP. Next, they give me segment SU is parallel. We see that that is parallel to segment PR. So SU is going to equal 1/2 of PR. And finally, TR, so this side right here, it says is congruent to what? Well, TR, we know that this is a midpoint, so that's going to be congruent to the top, PT, so segment PT. But it's also going to be congruent to this little side over here, SU. So then PQ, it says, okay, so PQ, this side is going to equal what? That is parallel to this one, so that is going to equal 2 times UT. Again, that's just using all of those formulas that I told you that we need to memorize. So now let's put all of that into practice and see how we're going to solve some geometry problems using that. So the last page of notes gives us all of these. So we look at number 1. This is the picture, the triangle that they give me. This is find the value of n. I see that I have a midsegment right here. So that line and that line are parallel to each other. I know that this one is bigger, so this one, 54, has to be 1/2 of the 3n. So there's 2 different ways that we could set this up. I could say that 54 is equal to 1/2 of 3n. So then I have 54 equals 3/2 of n. To get rid of the 3/2, flip and multiply by 2/3. Do that to both sides. So then 54 times 2/3 gets me n equals 36. Or I could have said that 3n, the big one, is equal to twice the small one, 2 times 54. So I could have said 3n equals 108. Divide by 3, n equals 36. So I get the same answer no matter which way, whether I do the 1/2 or the 2 times. So this next one, they give me n minus 9, that's a midsegment, 46. We see that the 46 is bigger, so I could say that n minus 9 is equal to 2 times 46. Sorry, that's 1/2 of 46. So n minus 9 equals 1/2 of 46 is 23. So add 9 to both sides, I get n equals 32. This next example, these 2 lines are parallel. So I could say 2n minus 23 equals 2 times 9.5. So then if I want to multiply that, so 2 times 9.5. So I get 2n minus 23 is equal to 19. Add 23 to both sides. So I get 2n equals 42. Divide by 2, n equals 21. 2 more examples. So here it says find the missing variables or links. So in this first one, we have x, y, and z that we need to find. So they give me that this mid-segment is 5. It's parallel to this one. So I know that x has to equal 2 times 5. So x equals 10. So now we're going to find y. So this little part up here, well, I know that it has to be the same as x. They have tick marks. So I know that y equals 4. And finally, z, again, 2 tick marks, 2 tick marks. So z has to be the same here. Z has to equal 8. Last example, they give me mid-segment here, 3x plus 8. This one down here, 2x plus 24. So again, there's 2 ways I could set it up. If I didn't want a fraction, I would say 2x plus 24 is equal to 2 times 3x plus 8. So I can distribute my 2. So I get 2x plus 24 equals 6x plus 16. Let's get all of our x's on the same side. So I'm going to subtract 2x over. So I get 24 equals 4x plus 16. Subtract 16 from both sides. So 24 minus 16 gets me 8 equals 4x. Divide by 4, x is equal to 2. So that is our first section of Chapter 5, 5.1, over mid-segments and the mid-segment theorem. Our homework will be a 5.1 worksheet that I have printed out for you.